ancestral farming knowledge has always been sustainable and regenerative throughout our generations. So for us, we know what that means. It means our connection to the earth, to the elements, to the water source, to the seed, and our responsibility to keep it intact for the next generation. So that has always been at the core of our mission. And in order to manifest that, we needed to keep our production local, regional, in the state of New Mexico. Keep building capacity of those farmers that do take growing food in a responsible way, keeping it at the core of its responsibility to feed our communities. And what does that take? It takes all of us to work at it together. Along that value food chain line, from farmers producing it, caring for the land, keeping our soil healthy, and all of the elements it takes in the good way to produce healthy food. And again, anchored in our community, not somewhere outside, anchored here in the heart of the South Valley, anchored here in community organizing that has been taking place in community benefit work, collective work, with healthcare and with farming entities. It still takes that village, that community of support with all the tools, resources, and engagement to really give us what we're trying to attain, which is community health and well-being.
We're talking about a very vibrant, active, kind of pro kind of movement within the South Valley here. Largely an agricultural community when we look back. It's a real strong and vibrant history that goes along with not only the people that have been living here in many cases for generations upon generations, but the history and the culture that goes along with that interconnectedness. The work that we, along with others, have been engaged in, as we say, throughout these years, is making our community whole again. We're looked at through the local food solutions as a model. There's visitors that come from all over the country, in many cases all over the world, to talk about and engage, and for us to share how in some cases this model could be used in other places.
Agri-Cultura Network have been helping me to keep my business alive, which is farming, agriculture. But at the same time, we have been helping, and we are the ones who create Agri-Cultura Network to be able to do projects like the one we're working on. I didn't know anything about farming, nothing. Thanks to my mentor, Don Bustos from Española, now I'm running my own business, and I'm teaching also people to keep this culture alive, a culture that belongs to any human being. So I do agriculture, music, and Aztec dance. And agriculture as a way of living with all the knowledge, and music because it's something that I learned since I was a child and I love it. And the dance is to say thanks for both of them. And right there you understand how everything relates.
For me, it's also a real healing thing. I think that when we're putting our hands in the soil, I think that it really helps us understand the cycle of life and our relationship to it, right? Because when you're farming in your garden, you have your hands in the soil, and you're prepping the soil and nurturing the soil, and then you put seed in it, and life grows from that seed. And I think that's a real beautiful kind of idea, and nobody's teaching you that, you're just seeing it. And after so many years, I think people that are gardeners and farmers really kind of understand that. And I think that recognizing that the Mother Earth can heal us as well as nurture us, and I think that it's going to be a struggle to come back to that, but that's the only salvation that we have, really, in terms of what we're facing with even climate change.
The seeds already have the blessing, and it's just us helping and caretaking and learning from them. There's definitely spirit in them, and I feel when there is spirit, when there is that connectedness, when you don't see it as just an inanimate object, that it is living, it definitely gives power to the food and even to the person growing it. If the plant that you gave it harm and hatred and everything, and you consume it, you're definitely consuming that harm and hatred in yourself. And if you give it love, and if you give it cariño, agua cuando lo necesita, you're gonna have that too.
Life had to be more than working in a cubicle in a government agency, because my home was empty and my kids just got dropped off and picked up, and we got home to eat and do homework and go to bed and run out of the house again. So I ended up leaving that job and not knowing how alive the farming community was still here in this area. So I just kind of was at home, not really knowing where I was going, but I just knew I didn't want to be there anymore. So, and then somehow I started thinking like, well, why are we going to Walmart and Smith's for a cucumber and a lettuce? And I come from a little pueblo, and we have land and water and all of these things, right? And community, and why don't we grow our own food and provide it for our community?
The next step is how can Agri-Cultura Network and us together as one, which is one, can bring good quality food to places, like I said before, to the dollar store, where people with low income should be able to get good quality food. And that's how we have been helping each other.
It's about making our community whole again. And so basing upon this, we say, hey, we need to meet with some of the CEOs or whoever of these dollar stores and say, look, at the end of the day, for us, we're not calling for a boycott of your stores. We're asking for engagement, an engagement with dignity and with respect. We'd like to bring our leadership to the table. And then if the dollar stores are really talking about truly bringing quality produce into our communities and this kind of thing. So we developed a project called the Local Food Solutions. You can't have environmental justice without economic justice. And so all those pieces are interconnected with each other, and in order to be able to pull those pieces together, then we need to be building an intergenerational movement. Here, we got a cooperative. We got a farmers cooperative. So let's just meet with the folk. We think they're going to really understand that if you're going to put produce into these stores, well then buy from the local farmers. This just makes sense. I mean, if we're expected to support you all and your business, then you should also be supporting us all and our business to not only make our communities whole again, but to bring economic development, successful community-based economic development into the community. So that's it. Value-added products that we've been looking at in regards to local food solutions. For example, salsa. You know, a lot of well, we eat a lot of chili, so what can I say? We do. And we love it, we eat it, and we're going to keep on eating it. So based upon that, then, salsa is one of the things here. Baby foods, and then salad dressings. We have a lot of health-related challenges in our neighborhoods, asthma, and other diabetes and other kind of things. So really, health, as we say, food is medicine. And medicine is food, those interconnections, then particular herbs, other things that kind of fall in line with our history and our culture and our building the health, safety, and well-being of our communities.
That's exciting for people to actually eat food that's grown locally versus what's grown commercially. Generally, people don't have any idea the difference in flavor as well as probably nutrition content. I'm really excited all the time about like our carrots and our beets, and just the difference between what you find at the store and for that to be reflected in the products sold here and for it to be produced in the local community is exciting. It's like a whole dynamic difference between corporation and community.